Thank you.
All over to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I can't hear you because you've all been muted, but I can see at least some of you. So, good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, you don't half look daft, you lot. It's great. Thank you very much for having us. It's lovely to be here. Well, to be here rather than there. I'm afraid we can't be there at the moment. This is a kind of a version of our show. Some of you may have seen us before, some of you won't, so I'll just very briefly introduce ourselves. I'm Steve, this is my wife Carol, and we together, collectively, are Fool's Gold. Now, see what happened was, we started off quite a long time ago playing in folk clubs, and we used to sing our own songs and some very well-known songs. But before we sang the songs, we started telling the stories about the songs, you know, the histories, the mysteries, the tragedies, the romances that lie behind these songs. And they've all got stories. And we found out that people quite like to hear the stories and hear the songs. And then we added some pictures to help bring it all together. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to do a version of that. We're going to play you a few songs, a couple you'll know very well, and a couple you might not know, but all with wonderful stories. So, without any further ado, I'm going to start off by taking you away from it all, I think. And we're going to head off to exotic parts. Right, there we go. And those exotic parts are... Well, folks, we've just gone to Paris. But not Paris as you know it now. This is Paris in 1730s. In the 1730s, Paris was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people were living there, and it was a mucky, dirty old place. We all know those horrible stories about people emptying their chamber pots into the streets and shouting Gardez-vous and all the rest of it, and the streets were horrible. They were horrible places to walk through. And so it meant there was plenty of work for this chap. Now, this is the guy that the song that you're going to hear is actually all about. It's a guy called Claude Vernet. And he was a painter. You can see him sitting there with his paints and his cloths and all the rest of it. And he's getting, well, in the 1730s, he was sort of a painter. You see, his dad had a sedan chair business. And the sedan chair business was so the rich people could get through the nasty, dirty streets without getting their dainty little feet wet. And so he used to paint the roses and things on the side of the carriages. But this wasn't enough for our Claude. He wanted to be a proper painter. And so he decided he would take himself off to Italy to get a proper classical Italian education on how to be a painter. And so he went to Marseille and saw something that changed his entire life. He saw this. This is the guiding light. It's a ship, and it's sinking in a storm off Marseille harbour. Claude had never seen the sea, he'd never seen a stormy sky, he'd never seen a ship. And here's all this drama unfolding in front of him. He saw the sailors scrambling to the rocks. He saw some of the other sailors in the yawl boat, rowing to try and get to the shore. And in a lull in the storm, he heard the captain's voice crying across the waves. This made such a huge impression on our Claude that for the rest of his life he painted the same scene over and over again. Sometimes the pictures looked a little bit different, but to his paintbrush, Claude always saw the guiding light, and in his head he always heard the captain's cry. Now, I have to tell you that this song is the one that my mother-in-law hates the most. That's because it's got a chorus that sticks in your head, and it goes round and round and round. So the words, if you want to join in, the words that you'll need are, "Let her go down," which tells you that it doesn't end very well. The song is called "The Guiding Light." And hopefully it goes like this.
and angry water foaming at the shore. People standing watching, fair fourscore or more. Watching flares ascending into the storm-tossed night, shining on the breaking of the guiding light. Throw lines across the water, tie ropes to the shore. Men worked hard to save her, worked till hands were raw. Her back began to break up with a mighty roar, and the call of her captain carried to the shore. It was then the captain cried, "Let her go down, let her go down. Her fate can't be denied. Let her go down, let her go down, let her go down, let her go down, let her go down." It was as the captain cried, "Her fate can't be denied. So let the bleak waves hide, let her go down." It was as the captain cried, "Let her go down, let her go down. Her fate can't be denied. Let her go down, let her go down, let her go down, let her go down, let her go down." It was as the captain cried, "Her fate can't be denied. So let the bleak waves hide, let her go down." Hearing the captain call, they began to save themselves. Lower away the yawl, boys, to the waiting waves. All on board and pull for shore, yet one brave soul arrive. It was then they heard the wind bring the captain's cry.
You can join in now, you know you want to.
It was then the captain cried, "Let her go down, let her go down. Her fate can't be denied. Let her go down, let her go down, let her go down, let her go down, let her go down." It was as the captain cried, "Her fate can't be denied. So let the bleak waves hide, let her go down."
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very, very strange as a musician, sitting here and doing a song and seeing all the people there, and then you finish the song and it's silence. It's very, very strange. Yeah. Mind you, I have to say, it's probably not the first time that's happened to us in a folk club, but there you go. Now, that was a song called The Guiding Light, which you will not probably have known, because it's one of ours. But this next song, you will definitely know. You will certainly know this song. It's very, very well known. But you might not know the secret history that hides behind it. And I'm just going to change my instrument as well at this point.
Actually, while he does that, I'll tell you that my mum is actually sat in the other room, so she will be singing her little heart out. It'll be driving her mad.
Unfortunately, my mother-in-law does not come with a mute button, but...
Neither does your father-in-law.
No, that's true. So, I brought my 8-string uke along this morning. I don't know if you've got a ukulele group, but I don't think I would be allowed in it. So, this next song, it's very, very strange because, well, it's about a politician, an American politician, who doesn't quite tell the truth all the time, and sometimes gets photographed outside a church to give himself some credibility. Now, obviously, this would never happen today, but it's an old song, this one, and, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take you there and show you what's going on. This is the chap in question. Now, you will know the song. You will definitely know the song. You might not have heard of him.
Go on.
He is. Yeah, I've got it. He had the hit with this song. He used it and made himself very, very famous when he was a politician. But he didn't write it. It was written in 1939 by a bunch of lads called the Pine Ridge Boys. They wrote it. It was their song. Now, what this chap did is he bought it so that he could make himself more popular for an election. That's Jimmy Davis. And Jimmy Davis was a well-known country and western singer in the 1940s in Louisiana. He was quite a big star, actually. He got into the Country Hall of Fame and all the rest of it. And he was very, very popular. But he wanted to be a politician. And so he decided he needed a gimmick. He wanted to get himself elected. So what he did was he bought the song, this particular song, from the Pine Ridge Boys and just changed the name. And it said, no, it wasn't by the Pine Ridge Boys, it was by Jimmy Davis. So he sort of claimed that he wrote it, and he didn't. Because what he used to do, you see, was, I forgot to tell you, in later life he became a pastor, started his own church, and made lots more records, religious music and things like that. Hence the church reference. But what he used to do in 1944, when he was getting elected, he used to go out campaigning as Jimmy Davis, the singing politician. And he used to ride into town on his horse, pictured, and with his entourage, and he used to ride down the main street, and then he used to get out his guitar, and he'd sing this song. It was his campaign song. Now, the thing is that the title of the song that Jimmy Davis used to do, he said, was the name of the horse. Well, maybe it was. What was his horse called? Here's a clue. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt that you were by my side. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung down my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy if you would only say the same. But if you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday.
Ready? Deep breath, everybody.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Oh, well, thank you very much indeed. So we got a thumbs up there, Steve.
So what we want to see?
Absolutely. Actually, talking of the weather, it's cooled down a little bit here. I don't know what it's like there.
No idea what's going on.
We're expecting storms a bit later on. It seems to have got a bit later and later. So maybe they'll come, maybe they won't come. Who knows? But it'll be a bit of relief from the heat, I think. So thank you very much for inviting us today. It's been an absolute pleasure to come and, well, to play for you. I think we're going to enjoy this next one as well.
Yep. Now this one, you'll not know because this is one of ours, but I don't know if you've seen any of our shows before, but quite often, our subjects reflect Northern heritage, particularly my heritage. See, I say Northern heritage. It is actually true that Carol's from Essex, but I mean you can't have everything, can you? So, but I'm from Newcastle originally, and we're both very interested in the mining heritage. My granddad was an old Geordie miner, and that's inspired us to research a lot of things and find a lot of stories out. And this next song is from the Durham mining tradition. It's about what used to happen. So once again, I'm going to take you off. Now, back in the day, and I'm talking sort of 1820, the Mining Reform Act was passed, and that meant that it was no longer legal to put children under 10 down the pit. That was very nice of them. If you were 10 and a bit, you could go down the pit. Not all the pits actually obeyed the rules anyway. But anyway, in Durham, Northumberland, Newcastle, places like that, if your dad was a miner, you were going to be a miner if you were a boy. Or prior to 1820, if you were a girl, you were going to be a miner. But you were going to be a miner one way or the other. There was very little other career opportunity. So, on your just after your 10th birthday, you'd leave school, you'd come home, and in the morning, you'd get up very, very early, and you'd find yourself walking to the pit with your dad. Because you started in the same pit as your father. And when you started, they all started with the same job. And that little lad there is doing it. It would be a trap boy. The mines had to be ventilated and the airflow had to be directed. And the way the doors were opened and closed was with the trap boy sitting behind it for 12 hours in the pitch black. That's just lit for the photograph. And they'd sit in the pitch black and listen for trucks and wagons coming down the way. And when they heard one come, they'd have to pull on a piece of string, open the door, and let the wagon through. And they had to be quick, because if they were too slow, the wagon would hit the door and it would open and crush them. It was very hard work. And for a 10-year-old sitting in the dark for 12 hours, just listening and waiting to pull on a string, must have been very, very hard indeed. So this work was very hard. And when I say that some of them were less than 10, well, you can see for yourself. That little gentleman was a trap boy. I have no idea how old he is, but he's certainly less than 10. Now, what used to happen was that the young boys worked all day, 12 hours a day, down the pit, but it was very hard work, very, very tough, very, very hard, and they were so tired that at the end of the day, their father would come and pick them up and take them home, but they would be so tired that they'd fall asleep and end up riding home fast asleep on their father's shoulders. Now, when they were fast asleep on their father's shoulders, I wondered what on earth they might dream about. And I think they would dream about having a different life, having a different experience, having different opportunities. And so that's what this song's called. It's called Different Dreams. Okay.
The pit's head lies behind as weary feet make way back home to bed, first bath and fed, and work another day, another day, another day. Pit lads ride the shoulders, not to father's tread. Sleep and dream, work the seam, could be now until you're dead, until you're dead, till you're dead. But you have dreams of a different kind, where dark is blown away by sky, and the dust is banished by the breeze, where birds can fly and so can I, and hope burns brightly in your eye. It will be alright by and by, by and by. You have dreams of a different kind, where dark is blown away by sky, and the dust is banished by the breeze, where birds can fly and so can I, and hope burns brightly in your eye. It will be alright by and by. And by. Tomorrow without fanfare, the moon's still on the stair. It doesn't feel like living, It doesn't seem quite fair, seem quite fair, seem quite fair. So carry on with dreaming, dream on, me bonny lad. So on the floor behind your door, in dreams you can be clad, can be clad, can be clad. But you have dreams of a different kind, where dark is blown away by sky, and the dust is banished by the breeze, where birds can fly and so can I, and hope burns brightly in your eye. It will be alright by and by, by and by.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Which one are you doing? We've done it before that.
Oh, Arthur says it's raining there. So that must mean it's on its way to us just now. Thank you, Arthur, for that. It's, I'm delighted you're sending me rain, but never mind, I'll let you off. That's fine. We're going to do, we've got two more left for you. We can get into the time. They're both songs that you have heard before.
Okay.
I was going to introduce the first bit of it. Just yes, because I've got my capo in the box.
Oh, he's got his capo in the box. Right, okay. Well, I don't really want to spoil too much of the secret as you sort of talk about the website. Okay, right. Okie doke. Yes, for those of you that may have seen us or may not have seen us, we do have a website that's got all our information on. It's got all our contact details on. It's also got details of some of the books that we have and CDs that we have. Lots of books that have lots and lots of stories in that have CDs that go with them, make great gifts, make great listening for lockdowns, actually.
Lockdown listening?
Lockdown listening. We should have thought of that, shouldn't we, a long time ago? Lockdown listening. So please do visit the website, have a look. There's also a contact form on there if you'd like to send us a message at any point. That would be lovely. We would look forward to hearing from you.
Right, I've got my capo now, so I'm back. Now, this song, some of you might have heard us do this one before. It's the only one we're repeating, I think, today, because we like doing this one. It's good fun. It's a very, 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 very well-known song. Very well-known song. But people don't know what it's about. People think it's got something to do with the 1960s, and it hasn't got nothing to do with the 1960s at all. That's because it's got to do with a different decade. It's got to do with the 40s. The 1740s. This is the setting for this song. It's a little coastal song, well, sort of, but it was originally written in the 1400s, this song. It became very popular in the 1960s, but it was originally written around about 1400 as a border ballad called The Elfin Knight. Now, The Elfin Knight, really, it's a love story set in a medieval town. Well, partly in a medieval town. You see, the young man in this story, well, he lives in that little town there. But the young lady, well, she lives outside the town. Now, the thing is that the young lady, that's the one that lives outside the town, she is madly in love with the young man who lives inside the town. And the young man who lives inside the town, well, he can't stand the sight of her because he's terrified of her. With very good reason, because she was a witch. And he didn't want to be romantically involved with a witch, so he kept trying to avoid her, and he kept out of her way as much as he could, but she was very tenacious, and she used to follow him round wherever he went. This was horrible. The young man was terrified of the witch. He didn't want to be in anywhere near her, and so he decided he had to get rid of her. but he wouldn't tell her to get lost in case a spell turned him into a frog or something like that. So he came up with a cunning plan of giving her impossible things to do, like make him a shirt with no seams, which is impossible. But she could do it because as a witch, she could use magic. Eventually, she got fed up with using magic just to do his chores for him, and used magic instead, 4 powerful herbs, to make a love potion, with which she managed to persuade the young man to fall head over heels in love with her. So, this song, if you ever hear it on the radio or anything like that, you will know that it is nothing at all to do with 2 gentlemen from America. It's got to do with 1400s Berwick.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt, parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, without any seams nor needlework. Then shall be a true love of mine. Tell her to find me an acre of land, parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, between the salt waters and the sea strands. Then shall be a true love of mine. Tell her to reap it with a sickle of leather, parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, and bind it all with a bunch of heather. Then shall be a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. sun's come out over there now.
Thank you very much. Oh, I see. I'm getting weather reports here. Arthur says sun's out now. Yes, you're just rubbing it in now, Arthur, aren't you? That's all you're up to. And John and Shirley, yes, okay, you're confirming it. So Arthur does not tell Porkies it's true. Good. Well, that's going to take us up to our final song. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far anyway, and we've got one more for you, and you will definitely know this one. That's because it's not one song, it's several songs joined together into a medley. And you will undoubtedly know these things. So I'm going to take you off, ladies and gentlemen, back in time to Victorian times, when the music hall was at its height. We're back to the music hall. Wonderful place, fantastic. There's all sorts of things that happened there, all sorts of sights to see, acts to enjoy, all sorts of things. You could go out and have a whole night in the music hall, eating, drinking, watching the show, throwing pork pies at the acts, and whatever you wanted to do. It was an amazing place to be. And there was all sorts of things to enjoy and see. There was all sorts of strange things happening in the music hall. There was ladies that dressed up as gentlemen. That's Vesta Tilly. And of course, on the other side of the coin, there was gentlemen that dressed up as ladies, and that's Danny LaRue, who was, of course, started his career in the music hall. Very, very famous gentleman indeed. And all sorts of wonderful things. Oh, yeah. In the music hall, a chap called Dan Leno, way back in early Victorian times, started a new idea, which was instead of standing up and singing your song, what you did was you acted your song out. You dressed as the person in the song, you acted as the person in the song, and all the rest of it. And that's Charles Coburn, who made his career, made his name by acting out the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo. But he was not the man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo. That's because he was. That's Charles Monte Carlo Wells. And he was very famous in his day, or should I say infamous, because Charlie Boy there was nothing more than a con man, a deceiver, and a cheat. But he was, to give him his due, extremely good at it. And so he did break the bank at Monte Carlo. I'm not entirely certain. There are two schools. Some people say it was at roulette. Some people would say it was at baccarat. But he had a system. He had a swindle going, and he broke the bank 3 times, making himself an absolute fortune. Now, people know it was a trick, it was a scam, but nobody to this day actually knows how he did it. So he got away with it, and he walked away with what in today's money would be millions. And he bought himself a yacht, and he lived the high life. He sailed the seas, parties, all the rest of it, had a wonderful time on his ill-gotten gains. But, of course, history has a way of catching up with these guys. And so, later in life, Charles went off to hide from the English law, and he hid in Paris. He wasn't very good at hiding, though, because he started a bank. He started his own bank, and he tried to get investors to join in by promising them 365% interest. Needless to say, nobody ever saw a penny. And so poor old Charlie ended up his days in French jail. Now, I'm sure there's a moral to that somewhere along the line, but these songs are all taken from the music hall. And it's almost, this is a challenge for you, Alsager, this is a really big challenge for you, it's almost impossible not to sing along. As I walk along the wide of a line with an independent air. You can hear the girls declare,
He must be a millionaire.
You can hear them sigh and wish to die and see them blink the other eye. The man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
On Mother Kelly's doorstep, down Paradise Row, I'd sit along Nelly, she'd sit along Joe. She'd got a little hole in the frock, a hole in a shoe, a hole in a sock where her toe peeped through. But Nelly was the smartest down our alley. On Mother Kelly's doorstep, I'm wondering now if little gal Nelly remembers Joe her beau. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
who's your lady friend? Who's that little girlie by your side? I've seen you with a girl or two. Oh, 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 I am surprised at you. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
what's your little game? Don't you know your ways you ought to mend? It isn't the girl I saw you with the Brighton. Who's your lady friend? My old man said follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. Off when the van with the unpacked in it, I walk behind with me old cockle in it. I dill-it and dall-it, dall-it and dill-it, lost the way and don't know where to roam. You can't trust the specials like the old-time coppers when you can't find your way home. And you're dying, and you're dying, and you're dying. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet, dressed in style, a brand new tie with your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, or dying, or dying.
Right. Now I said it was difficult not to sing along, and you're going to find out how now, because we're going to do those songs again, so you can join in again, but we're going to do them backwards.
Reverse order.
Oh, sorry, yes, reverse order. I always get that mixed up. Are you ready? Big deep breath.
And you're dying, and you're dying, and you're dying. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet, dressed in style, a brand new tie, your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, or dying, or dying. My old man said follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. Off went the van with me unpacked in it, I won't be behind the old cockle in it. I dill-it and dall-it, dall-it and dill-it, lost the way I don't know where to roam. You can't trust the specials like the old-time coppers when you can't find your way home. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
who's your lady friend? Who's that little girlie by your side? I've seen you with a girl or two. Oh, 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 I am surprised at you. Hello, hello,
Hello.
what's your little game? Don't you know your ways you ought to mend? It isn't the girl I saw you with at Brighton. Who's your lady friend? On Mother Kelly's doorstep, down Paradise Row, I might sit along Nelly, she'd sit along Joe. She'd got a little hole in a frock, a hole in a shoe, a hole in a sock where her toe peeped through. But Nelly was the smartest down our alley. On Mother Kelly's doorstep, I'm wondering now if little gal Nelly remembers Joe her beau.
As I walk along the wonderful line with an independent air, you can hear the girls declare he must be a millionaire. You can hear them sigh and wish to die and see them wink the other eye. The man that broke the bank, the man that broke the bank, the man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
Yay!
Thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure.